Practice underway for the Cup Series as this is the final race of the round of 16. Practice qualifying taking place here on this Friday afternoon. Rick Allen, Jeff Burton, Steve Letarte with you from the booth, and Kim Kuhn taking care of all the stories down on pit road and in the garage area. As the cars making their way around here, you look at the point standings. Only one driver locked in, and that is Christopher Bell. He has advanced based on points. At the bottom of the list, the driver of that car, the number 4, Kevin Harvick. He is 35 points below that cut line. So they are coming into it. Rodney Childers, the crew chief, and Kevin Harvick with a must-win mentality. Now, mathematically, they still could make it in, but it would take a pretty amazing feat and quite a few drivers having issues. So Kevin Harvick, Rodney Childers, and this Ford team, champions, feeling like they have to go out here and win. And the reason why they're in this position is they've had issues the last 2 weeks. We look back to Darlington, the start of the playoffs, and a fire erupts underneath the hood and on the right side of that car. He had to climb out, then into the wall at Kansas a week ago.
That's right there. He just wasn't expecting to lose the car. There's 2 cars pulled up in front of him. The air got taken away from him. I'll tell you one thing. The field does not want to see what they're seeing right now from this car. He is 3rd fastest. He is 2nd fastest on 15-lap average. His fastest lap is a 44. On his 29th lap, he just went a 56. Joey Logano, he's P1 on the board. Let's hear what they're talking about.
That's my teammate. Just the car was really hard to steer. Car's hard to steer. Stiff. Copy that. We're going to check with him. 68. Blaney said, yeah, a little bit.
All right, so there you go. Another car with another comment about the steering. So, you know, what I hear there is, hey, I don't know if we have a problem, or is this just what this car feels like at Bristol? You know, asked what our teammates had for comments. So, you know, there's definitely, you know, sounded like a little bit cause for concern, and more than anything, just looking for some information. 500 starts. You see it right there in the rear bumper for Joey Logano.
Milestones. We think about Joey being such a young driver and a young champion. It's hard to believe that he's already had 500 starts in his career.
Yeah, 32 years old. Just very, very impressive how much he's gotten done already at 32.
Ross Chastain did not start this practice with a lot of speed. He's down in 27th fastest overall, 13th in this group. He's run 20 laps. Some other people have run 30, 34. Kel, what do you have on those guys?
Yeah, definitely not the speed we expect from Ross Chastain in Trackhouse Racing, but there's 2 parts when these guys practice. 1 is shaking down the car, and 2 is the driver figuring out how to attack the racetrack. Here's what Ross had to tell his team.
Lifting before you said anything, my natural lift point, I felt was backed up. So when you said I needed to back it up more, it felt really unnatural. Rolling in the corner super slow and secure. Lands plenty good, no turn.
So you heard Ross there having to kind of change his points. And Jeff, we talk about this track being a momentum track and a track where you have to find your rhythm. Clearly, it sounds like Ross still looking for that rhythm here at Bristol this afternoon.
Yeah, it was interesting to hear him say it didn't feel natural at all. It felt very uncomfortable, strange where he was lifting. His lap times are competitive. Certainly needs to be a little bit better, but not far off.
Spent a little time with Ross this past week at an event, charity event, and I was talking to him. I said, "How you feeling about the playoffs?" And he's very soft-spoken. He said, "Oh, we're going to be pretty good. I think we'll be okay." And we ended the conversation. He said, "I'd really like you guys just to keep talking about me." And I said, "No, Ross, don't worry, Ross. You're definitely going to be a topic of conversation." And I think a lot of people have brought up this racetrack as one that Ross may have ruffled some feathers of other drivers, and this is one of those where you can get behind a driver, maybe add a little pressure to them, bump them out of the way, and I think Ross has that in the back of his mind, that might be something that could happen to him here this weekend.
Yeah, he could deliver, or it could be delivered to him. It could happen either way. Top of the board, the 11 of Denny Hamlin. We heard concerns about the steering. Well, by lap time alone, I will say that they have either resolved it or found a way around it. But they have run a couple of the fastest laps when you look at both practice sessions. He's the fastest car so far. About 6 or 7 laps into this run. Let's go on board. Just watch the steering right here. I'll tell you, Jeff, they are back to the throttle with some aggression, aren't they?
Yes, they are.
And I'm used to like part throttle. Watch the green lights with Denny lifts. Go to 0. Now watch when he goes back to the gas. That time was a little bit rolled in, but I mean, there's just not a lot of partial throttle.
Looks okay, huh? Looks better than okay.
That's right. Top of the chart for Denny Hamlin. 7.5 minutes still to go in this practice session for Group B. Again, qualifying will be coming up after practice from right here at Bristol. Under 5 minutes to go in practice, and all hands on deck for the 18 as they spun around this racetrack, and a handful here for Kyle Busch.
Yeah, I talked about we hadn't seen many cars loose on entry, but here's one. That's what it looks like. Got loose on entry, turned back up the hill to save it, and looped her around, no damage. Hold the brake. Brakes are held. Austin Cindric.
Oh, my.
That right there is a lesson, though, for young race car drivers everywhere. Why do you keep the brakes held down? So everyone trying to miss you can at least predict where you are going. He was even sliding down the down the banking with the brakes locked up. But if Kyle Busch gets frustrated, takes his foot off the brake to roll to pit road, that's 2 destroyed race cars.
Yeah. So Rowdy's still strapped in and ready to go when they get him back out there. But as a crew chief, Steve, what are you looking at? I mean, they spun backwards. We saw the wheels roll backwards. Is that an issue?
Yeah, I mean, if he didn't have his foot on the clutch, I would be a little concerned. Talk to the motor guys, see if they have any issues there. You know, with no new tires to put on it in practice, I would be shocked if they go back on the racetrack in the 18 unless they think there's something mechanically they want to check out. All right, so we've had one car spin, and he's the guy that's won 8 times here at Bristol. So I know Kyle Larson said, man, it was kind of easy to drive. I'm going to let Kyle Larson know. I think that was his car. I think his car was easy to drive because it looks good on the timer, too.
His lap 31 was his fastest lap. That's the last lap he turned before spinning, as we see the 31 out on track now.
All right, so here we go. Another guy trying this upper lane.
Come to us.
He's running 60s up there. That's a little bit off pace, but not by a lot. So making decent time in that second and third lane.
Can't finish the corner.
Can't finish the corner. I'm assuming he's too tight. Needs to be in the gas. Not having to lift. He's having to turn the wheel way more than he wants to.
Austin Cindric back out on track.
I love that paint scheme. They've run it a few times. Good-looking car. Up close, it has a lot of detail, but then the detail's kind of bold enough that when you step back and get all the way up here, it just looks great on the racetrack.
Cindric struggled a little bit in practice early, but late he's been really fast. Went to P2 on the board. Fastest lap 21 at a 15:34, and he just went a 15:44. So Cindric with good speed.
And the top 5 cars in combined practices are all in this session. So I believe the track itself is also getting a little better.
So, Steve, I got a question for you. Cindric coming into this race, he's 12th in points, but he's got to manage 500 laps here as a rookie. And that's a tall task. So how do you help prepare him for that?
Well, I think at this point, you just watch a lot of tapes. You talk about how long the race is going to be. And I think as a rookie making the playoffs, the goal's kind of been accomplished, feeling what the pressure of the playoffs is all about. I don't think you want to add pressure to the driver that's to Austin Cindric, but just kind of prepare him what is absolutely ahead of him. Kim.
And looking at the 45 car of Bubba Wallace, really far down on the board there. Currently checked in with the team to see if there was any major issue. All they really told me was that it was just way too tight. And Bubba's a driver that tends to like a little bit freer of a race car, so they took some time, made some changes in order to get that car turning more. Now, the good news is this car won last week. They are in the owner's Owners Championship run, so they've locked themselves into the next round in that Owners Championship. The bad news is you never want to kill that momentum with a bad weekend after a win. So plenty of work for this team still to do before tomorrow's race.
Booty Barker right there on the radio. Just a great story. Long crew member for many, many different organizations. He actually was at Hendrick Motorsports early in my career. We were roommates for some time. Booty was the shot guy way back then. I'm excited to see him get this opportunity with Bubba and then make the most of it, right? I mean, they won not just at Talladega a year ago, then backed it up with the second career win for Bubba last week at Kansas. So.
Yeah, convincing win at Kansas as well.
Great speed.
Held off, actually, team owner, co-owner, Denny Hamlin at the end. We look back to Kansas and what he has been able to accomplish. But a week ago, he held off the hard-charging 11 of Denny Hamlin to grab his second career win. And he led it's a career high for him, 56 laps there at Kansas. And I would say momentum on his side. Again, the reason for the number change, 2311, has Kurt Busch, who is out because of a qualifying crash at Pocono. And so Ty Gibbs had been filling in for him, but because of Kurt Busch's win prior to the start of the playoffs, they wanted their best opportunity to continue through the playoffs as far as the Owners Championship is concerned. That's why they put Bubba in the 45. Crew Chief Booty Barker came over as well. You see Ty Gibbs behind the wheel of the 23 now for that organization. But the success is there as Bubba Wallace, the most recent winner in the Cup Series, and in this practice session, not the speed he was hoping for. Currently 21st on the list of this group.
I've got an easier answer now when somebody says, what's the coolest thing or the greatest thing or the biggest thing that's you've ever been a part of in racing? Because, I mean, honestly, man, the winning Daytona 500, winning championships in Xfinity Series, amazing moments, so much fun, so much great memories. But there was something special about that you can't recreate. No matter how hard we try, we would never be able to duplicate what happened there. That was just something else. I just don't I don't even know how to put it into words because it was so unexpected.
There's just a sample of what you will see from the Dale Jr. download. Dale Jr. back at North Wilkesboro. Again, that was in a late model race that took place a little bit earlier this year, and he talks in great detail about that. As we take a look at the rest of the schedule from tonight here, Countdown to Green at 7 o'clock, then 7:30 Xfinity Series Racing, the final race of the regular season, and it all culminates with the 10 o'clock showing of Race for the Championship. So two groups have been out and practiced here at Bristol Motor Speedway. Take a look at Group B and the results from this second group that was on track. The top four all playoff drivers. And then you have A.J. Allmendinger in there. Once again, not a full schedule in the Cup Series, but he is running for a championship in the Xfinity Series, so he'll be racing later tonight in the Xfinity Series, but also a good run in the Cup car.
Yeah, stack of Fords. I mean, a whole bunch of Fords over there in the top 10 in the Group B, and the top 5 in this group were top 5 overall. So whether this group was faster or whether the track increased in speed, I'm going to vote the latter. I believe the track is continuing to get better. We will see, and I actually think that's a storyline moving into qualifying. I think these cars that are going to go out early, it's going to be a big disadvantage. Let's check in. Denny Hamlin, fastest guy in Bristol. He's standing by with Kim.
Fastest, but he did have an issue with the steering. So can you give us any more clarity on what it was and any concern it might jump back up during qualifying or the race tomorrow?
Yeah, I mean, there's a concern. I don't know what we do about it, as the crew chief would say. So, you know, I think that it got better the second and third run that I went out. But certainly, you know, if it comes in the race, I just got to deal with it, and it's going to, you know, hinder our performance. But I don't know, with lap times not falling off at all, I don't know that we want to give up any track position at all costs.
There you have it from Denny. Sounds like there's still some unanswered questions as to exactly what they need to do with that race car.
One question I have to the two of you as qualifying is underway. Do you see a preference as far as where to run during this qualifying lap?
I think it's right around the bottom. I haven't seen enough evidence moving up that you're going to move up the racetrack. Another thing just to point out, though, is you see no lap time coming up. The cars are leaving the back straightaway. So they're going to leave the back stretch, kind of roll around. They won't take the green right away. They almost get like a lap and a quarter of warm-up. So if it seems like your driver's running extra laps, as we see Landon Castle on what appears to be a third lap, it's really his second timed. Don't find that crazy. So
really curious. You mentioned the track. You feeling like the track got faster in that second group. Really interested to see going out early historically here has not been an advantage at all. It's been a disadvantage. But we've also not had these practices straight to qualifying. We've always had a big break.
So it looks as though Corey LaJoie was having an issue with the 7 car. The 2 Spire Motorsports cars were going to go out onto the racetrack, but it's not going to crank, or it hasn't cranked yet. So that was the issue with the 7. So Harrison Burton jumped him in line, and we'll see how the rookie does here on his qualifying run.
Right, so now that's the green flag for Harrison. And Corey should get 5 minutes. Normally is what they give you. They give you a 5-minute clock to resolve your issues. We'll see if they're able to do it. The 21 car ran a 15:57 in practice. 38, I would expect to pick up. Yeah, it's a nice pickup. We'll see if he can go even faster on this lap. Really close, pretty consistent so far. Can he get off 3 and 4? Oh, we'll call that consistent.
Yeah, hovered right around that same number.
So we'll see. A 38 in race practice was well inside the top 10, but we'll just have to see how many other cars find some more pace.
It's so hard going out early. I always found it hard going out early is you don't know. Like, you have to go find that grip limit, right? You have to go push. And, of course, when you push too hard, there's the end of it. If you go out 20th, you know the track pace. Like, you know what you guys ran in practice, and you know what the track will accept. These guys going early, they got to go figure that out. And the only way to do it is just go drive the car hard and hope it sticks.
This is Cody Ware behind the wheel of the 51, and the Rick Ware-owned number 51.
Cody was pretty decent in practice. He was 29th fastest.
15:46.
He sailed her in there.
Yeah, he did not lack entry speed into turn 1.
Drifts up the track again there through 3 and 4.
We spoke in practice how from 1st to 30th was about 3/10 of a second. That's how close this qualifying will be, Kim.
That's right. Let's get a word from Alex Bowman before he climbs aboard. Practice done. Did you have any indication of what you need to do to attack this racetrack and make yourself one of the contenders for the pole?
Yeah, for sure. It's going to change a lot before tomorrow night, but yeah, just really fast, really loud, really fast around the bottom. Our Ally 48 car is just a little bit tight, so we'll see what it has in qualifying, but it's different than Bristol's ever been. It just is a different feeling, and the cars are pretty stable so far, so it's a lot of fun, and hopefully we're up front.
Good luck.
Thanks.
We're going to let Alex Bowman climb aboard his car as things are moving very quickly here in qualifying.
Well, that's the thing. Remember, it's 15-second laps.
Yeah, so you're looking at under a minute a car.
This is Todd Gilliland. Also yellow stripes on the back of that car, the rookie. Just a little slower than Harrison at a 15:45. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. is coming out now, and then Corey LaJoie, it sounds as though, will be the next car to go out on the racetrack. This is interesting.
Todd was 27th fastest in practice, so yeah.
So this is the point, right? So he's not coming to the green, so don't, this is just a whole warm-up lap. So Ricky obviously feels there's a little bit of speed and kind of getting those tires scuffed in.
Yeah, it's interesting because most guys have been fastest on their first lap. No, I'm sorry, here. Yeah, that's right. Most guys have been fastest on their first lap.
On the clock now for Stenhouse Jr. You see him trending in the green.
Right on the bottom. Yeah, you and I think the same thing. Covering the yellow line, both ends of the racetrack.
Up the racetrack there.
Oh, boy. he can improve on lap 2. Lap 1 was good enough for fastest. Kind of missed the bottom that time again. I don't believe this lap's going to be better, although he has room to improve down here.
I think there's a lot of speed left in the track. The way he came off turn 4 on his best lap up the racetrack shows me that there's some grip in this racetrack.
And Kim standing by with another driver of the Ford group.
That would be Chase Briscoe. He's watching these qualifying efforts go down, but I want to talk race tomorrow. A lot of questions on whether or not will she's shifting, and if so, what will dictate that? What's your take on it?
Yeah, you know, I didn't try it there in practice, but I know for sure I saw some guys doing it, heard some guys doing it. I think it's just all about the pace. You know, when the pace is so fast, you know, if we're running the top, I don't think you will. But I think if for sure if the pace slows down a little bit and you're running the bottom, it's definitely going to be a tool you can use. It's just, you know, fourth gear is so short. I mean, you're literally almost back on the straightaway going back to fifth. So if your car is really tight, I think that's something that you could definitely use. But for me, I never used it there in practice. So I don't know. I think you definitely see some guys doing it, but the pace is going to have to slow down quite a bit in order for that to happen.
So I don't know if that answered your question, guys, but it sounds like shifting is in the possible playbook for tomorrow, depending on the situation.
Yeah, I bottled up in traffic maybe. You know, we don't see much tire fall off. Corey, fourth fastest, probably not going to be happy with that. He was a little quicker. He was 22nd fastest in practice, so probably not going to be thrilled with that lap.
Well, the car looked stable, which tells me it was just too tight.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't see either underdriven or too tight. You know, either that, like, you know, it had more grip than he expected, or he overslowed the car in the middle of both corners waiting on the front tires, right? Sometimes you just, if the front tires don't grip, you just have to kind of wait for them to change direction.
And the trouble with that tight, Steve, is you got to go back to the throttle, and there's a wall at the end of the corner. And so when you go back to that throttle quick and you come off the corner, you're flirting with hitting that wall, and that's the limiting factor. If the wall were 8 feet further out, you could go to the throttle sooner, but that's not where it is. And
those are the ones, anytime you're not fast and it looks calm, usually tight is what your driver will tell you. Loose is a little easier to see because the back moves around.
Here's Ty Dillon on track and on the clock, and now we're comparing the fifth because that's what everyone in each group is going to try to get into so that they make it to the second round of qualifying. If you're inside of the top 5 of your group, you advance to that next round.
Yeah, some changes made it to 42 this week with crew chief and some other personnel. Ty won't be back in this car. It'll be Noah Gregson next year. Chad Norris has stepped in to crew chief this last little bit of the season. It's been a little bit of a bumpy day for Ty. 35th out of 36 cars. It doesn't seem that too many big improvements right there, as he'll be 6th quick out of the 7 that have run.
1560 for Ty.
I think this guy right here is going to give us a good indication of what kind of speed this track has. He was 14th fastest in practice, had good long run speed. Let's ride along. Listen to how quick he gets back in the throttle. Gosh. That's a fast lap. We thought it might happen. Sure enough, a 13.
Fast as anyone has run today.
This one looks like it's going to be maybe a touch slower.
Second lap of 15. 15-15. First lap, the fastest.
I should have quit. I felt like I should have quit.
15-13. You drivers, you can feel those hundredths of a second. Now we see Michael McDowell out on the track.
McDowell was 31st fastest in practice, so he just saw that very fast lap time, and his team let him know it. Look at the shade down here in 1 and 2. Right there. A lot of shade. Know the track's got a ton of grip. Push hard.
We're comparing to 5th now. So LaJoy on the bubble, and 0.2 of a second faster is McDowell.
I feel not good about the guys that ran in the 30s. Now that we have back-to-back 15 teens, Stenhouse, Burton, Gilliland, those guys in the 30s and 40s, I think they're in big trouble of trying to make it into the next round.
McDowell goes 15-17. He is second quick of the 9 that have been on the track. And it's Martin Truex Jr. who is out on track now as we continue with qualifying here at Bristol Motor Speedway for the Cup Series. Final race of the round of 16. After tomorrow night's race, they'll whittle it down to 12 drivers that'll still be fighting for the championship. And in the green, as we're comparing to 5th right now, Martin Truex Jr. has the 3rd fastest time. That bumps Gilliland below the line. Now Harrison Burton is on the line.
Truex car looks really, really stable.
Second lap fastest, 15:22 for Martin Truex Jr.
Steve, I think this track's just going to get faster and faster.
I agree. And now we're coming into all of our playoff drivers. They are split in sessions, and they run the second half of both sessions to try to make sure there's not an advantage or just a bad draw, which I like. Try to, see what you can do. The 8's going to run up a groove, try to get that momentum going, turns down, coming to take the green flag. Let's see if he's tracking into the green right away.
He is.
Didn't look like he got all the way to the bottom coming to get the green like he really wanted to.
He got every inch of the bottom that time through 3 and 4. That thing was right on the yellow line. Once again, painting right around the bottom.
4th quickest on his first lap. Can he improve upon that as he's moved Stenhouse now down? Even better second lap for Reddick, 15:15. Kim.
And a special weekend for Joey Logano, making his 500th Cup Series start, and this is a special racetrack, very unique. But in terms of qualifying, what makes qualifying here different than other racetracks we go to?
Oh, you got that PJ1 on the bottom. That's probably the obvious, and you got the next-gen car. Those two things are a pretty big unknown right now, and just watch your competitors and see what they're doing, see where the fast lane is, and hopefully your car does what you ask it to do when you get there. You got a couple laps here where typically we don't get that, so hopefully the first lap you get a good one in, and if not, you feel it out and make some adjustments and get the Shell Penzo Mustang up front.
Joey Logano, a 2-time Bristol concrete winner, has also won here on the dirt.
That's the first nervous-looking car I've seen. Just does not look like it's planted in the racetrack. And the times show it.
I think if it was loose, you should be able to get better. That was kind of a low straight entry, and that made it push up in the middle. Or good adjustment on the second lap. We heard Denny say that they had potential steering issues, but he didn't know if they would even take the time to work on it because you cannot qualify in the back. That was his opinion. It's going to be very important. So, Austin Dillon, why he didn't make the top 5, and people can, oh man, that's disappointing. Those 3 or 4 spots he gained right there, that could be a big difference. If we have a long run to start the race, that could be saving yourself a lap early on here at Bristol.
It's been a struggle for Austin Dillon today. He was 33rd fastest in practice, so. Ryan Blaney, we saw him in practice, and he was just like that, on the yellow line.
Ryan Blaney ended up being the only driver at the 16 that made it into the playoffs without a win.
Really good exit at turn 4 right there. Thought he was in a little bit of trouble, but.
3rd for Blaney on his first lap. All these drivers fighting to get into the top 5 so that they can make it to the second round. And Blaney fastest now, a 15:11 for Ryan Blaney.
It's pretty interesting, Steve. It took that car 3/4 of a lap to get going. It got to the middle of 3 and 4 on his first lap, and it turned. And prior to that, it was tight. And then that whole second lap, it ran really well. But it took that amount of time to get it fired off.
Here comes Daniel Suarez. Daniel was the first foreign-born Xfinity Series champion out of Monterrey, Mexico.
Suarez is 32nd fastest in practice.
And Lap 1 for Suarez is 9th fastest at a 15:40. Looking for a lot more on this second lap.
He's going to be buried in the field. Start of this race.
Just a little bit better on his second lap, about 100th of a second. But it still keeps him in 9th, so he will not move on to the next round of qualifying as the 9 of Chase Elliott rolls out. Great shot here from the bumper.
Steering wheel looks just a little heavy, like the car's a little tight in the middle.
I agree with you, Steve. Just doesn't rotate the middle like it needs to.
No.
Front end's not pointed, so he has to wait on the gas.
And when he does get in the gas, it kind of turns the car, and it looked like he tried to get it to do that and wanted to by using the throttle. It just wasn't good enough. 6 quick for Chase. But surprising. I expected the 9 to be maybe a little quicker in that session.
There's the fastest in this first group. Ryan Blaney out of the car talking with his team. 3 more to go. Larson, Bowman, and Bell.
I have a feeling this could be P1 right here. Let's see what happens. Look at this. Same thing Reddick did.
Way up the racetrack and on the clock now. See him in the green. Again, that's compared to Mark Truex Jr. currently in 5th. Larson with a contract extension through 2026 with Hendrick Motorsports. That announced yesterday. And one and done there. Larson 15:06.
And they shut him down.
Well, if we do believe, we don't think tires are a huge advantage. 1 less lap for the second round, has to run the set of tires again. Although, if race trim is any indication, it didn't seem like that was a penalty at all.
Here comes Alex Bowman.
He was fast in practice. I had him as one of the very best cars in race trim.
Oh, a little high and 1 and 2. Does a nice job, though, saving some time on exit. Good 3 and 4 might just be enough to move him through.
In the green, can he hang on to it? He goes to 4th quickest. So that will lock him into the top 5 as there's only 1 car still remaining in this group.
For this lap.
Goes from a 15:15 to a
We're 5th on the first line. Couldn't call you off.
15:08. He thought they were 5th on the first line. He said he couldn't call you off. They're actually 4th. But Christopher Bell, who's locked into the playoffs, he will try to knock Reddick out.
He's the one playoff driver having a pretty relaxed Bristol so far. He knows he's on, regardless. On with points, too. Very consistent first 2 races.
This will be the most fun Bristol race he's ever run.
Yeah. So that looked more like what I would consider a standard Bristol line. Just a foot or 2 off the yellow line. Nothing crazy, but not quite as tidy as the other guys. We'll see if it works. Oh. A little high there. Will it be enough? Oh, yeah.
It is. That's 5th quickest. He knocks Reddick out.
P5, shut it down.
And being the last one to go, they can shut it down. Larson, he's moving on. Fastest lap in Group A. Group B qualifying underway from Bristol Motor Speedway as everyone in Group B will be trying to get into that top 5. BJ McLeod, first one out on the track, a 15:50 for his first lap. Again, the top 5 will advance to the second round of qualifying already from Group A. Larson, Bowman, Blaney, Almirola, and Bell all fast enough laps that they will move on. You take a look at those advancing into the final round. And then the remainder of the top 10 with Tyler Reddick, and Chase Elliott, the two playoff drivers that just outside of that top 5. Michael McDowell, a good qualifying run. Martin Truex Jr., as well as Ricky Stenhouse Jr., all in the top 10 from the first group.
And Dillon and Suarez, the two playoff drivers that were unable to be in the top 10. So, to Jeff's point, if the track keeps picking up, they're going to start pretty far back when this thing green flags tomorrow night.
A.J. Allmendinger's 5th fastest in practice. A lot of eyes on this car right now. How fast can he go? That's a 09. I would have put him 3rd in the first group. That car looks so good. It's right around the bottom.
And let's listen in on the guy who was 3rd fastest in the first group, Ryan Blaines with Kim.
Yeah, Ryan fastest 5 in the Group 1, so he'll move on to the next round of qualifying. What do you have for the next round, and do you do anything differently than you did the first round?
Yeah, I thought we had decent speed, and I'm always pencil Ford Mustang. Practice. It's nice to put up a decent lap in qualifying. Make a little bit of adjustments on your car, but then, like, as a driver, figuring out what you need to do to get a clean lap. You know, it's hard coming here for the first time with this car and figuring out what you need to do, and then jump right into qualifying where you're trying to see where the limit is. So I think a little bit of both sides we can do a little bit better and try to make it around the pole.
We'll see what he can do in round 2 of qualifying.
J.J. Yeley he was 26th fastest in practice and way up the racetrack in qualifying.
I think for some of these smaller teams, air pressure, we talk about information a lot. Like, what do the big teams have? What do the small teams have? Well, information is really the key. And I think when it comes to tires and tire pressures and where they need to be, I think that's harder to understand if you have less information. In race trim, multiple runs at a track where tires don't fall off, maybe J.J. Yeley had an okay, they come to optimal temperature at some point. But if you kind of guess wrong or don't have the information to make a great educated guess, you can miss your air pressures in qualifying and the car does not drive like you want.
J.J.'s not a guy that's going to miss the bottom every corner, so his car is obviously not doing what he wants. As we see now, Ty Dillon right around the Ty Gibbs right around the bottom.
And I want to make a hard turn here. With the news that we just heard from Kyle Busch this week, that means there's an opening at Joe Gibbs Racing. Do we see Ty Gibbs make the jump next year and start Cup racing full time?
I think he should. I think that's the obvious choice. One pole already tonight in the Xfinity Series coming up next. But I think Ty Gibbs, the mistake, in my opinion, that Joe Gibbs Racing has made with their young drivers in Cup is I think they gave up on them too quickly. They got some really talented guys that just didn't have the success at the time that they wanted them to. You're going to have to be patient, and I think that they will be patient with Ty. A lot of green sky with Ty Gibbs. You think at the number of races he's won at the Xfinity level, there's an opportunity to just hang on to him because he's done enough. He's done enough to where you can just say, hey, this guy can get it done. Let's just give him a time.
Yeah, he's earned that 100-race runway, that 3-year runway. One of those drivers that I feel like they maybe wish they would have back is Eric Jones at times. Like, Eric is 3 race wins, 2 of them in the Southern 500. Obviously a very good race car driver. 3rd right here on his first lap.
And that would actually be blue sky that I was.
Well, when you said green sky, I didn't know if
getting late.
It's a different
I've never
sold
sold green sky, but if you could still, I don't know if it's sold easier. Or
South Boston's a different place.
I've sold all kinds of stuff, guys.
Green grass, blue sky, bluegrass.
We've got second quickest for Eric Jones of the 5 that have been out there. Again, now we will set the mark as to top 5 and who advances to the next round. Denny Hamlin watching on.
You know what I love about working with you guys when I said that? You both looked at each other like, what did he just say? You weren't surprised I said something silly. You almost applauded me for it.
And we actually would never let you go with something like that as well. We want to make sure you're loved here.
To quote one of my favorite movies, just let him go. He's on a roll.
That is.
Oh, no, sometimes you need to just reel me back in. I appreciate the help.
Oh, Brad Keselowski here comparing to Yeley.
Yeah, he's quite a bit quicker now, a half a second.
Put him, though, is the big question. There you go, second at a 15.
That would have been just outside the top 5 in the first round. We'll see if he can pick up a little bit. I think this is going to be better, right?
I think so.
There you go. Brad.
15:03. And so Keselowski puts up a very impressive lap. That's actually the fastest lap turned today. Kim.
And when we're talking playoff drivers, the only playoff driver who's locked into the next round is Christopher Bell. So does that change your approach to this weekend at all? The fact that you really don't have to worry about anything tomorrow night?
Yeah, definitely. Bristol's my favorite racetrack, and this is my favorite race of the year. So it's so relieving to be able to come in here and know we can lay it all on the line tomorrow. No matter what happens, we're going to be in a good spot come Texas. I love this racetrack, so I'm really excited about tomorrow.
Christopher Bell, one of the fastest 5 in Group A of round 1, does move on to the second round of qualifying.
This right here is a very impressive lap out of Cole Custer. 0-4, second on the board, and looking for a little bit more here right around the bottom. When they really hook the bottom, they look like they are going just so much faster.
That's good to see. I'm a big believer in Cole Custer. I know his Cup career has not gone the way he wanted it to, but again, in my opinion, another example. Just stay the course. Let this guy learn how to do this. He will give you long-term success.
Second quickest so far in the qualifying is Cole Custer, as now the 31 making its way out on the track with Justin Haley taking a look. A little bit later, it's going to be the Dale Jr. download, and that's Dale Jr. back at North Wilkesboro. What a great episode when he went back there to race the late model. A great show there. That's at 6:30. Countdown to Green will kick us off, getting ready for the Xfinity Series race. That's happening at 7:30, and then race for the championship at 10 o'clock tonight, as we see Haley in the green now, trying to fight to get a spot inside the top 5 here.
I tell you, Justin Haley has done a remarkable job. It is not his rookie year, no yellow on that rear bumper because he has enough starts. But this is the first year full-time in a car that has the equipment and the financing to continue to improve, and he's really done it quietly. He had a great run at Darlington in the spring, and here he is inside the top 5 qualifying in the second group.
Got tight into 3 on that second lap,
Yep.
Steve. Hurt that second lap.
Haley looking forward to tomorrow night's race for the Cup Series. Again, one of the most coveted tickets in all of racing is the Saturday night Bristol race.
Now, you know Chris Buescher wants to just be just a little quicker than his boss, just a little quicker than his teammate.
And that would be Brad Keselowski, who has that 15 almost flat up there at 15:03.
A little high right there on exit. You can see how much it hurts the time. Got to regroup, get a better second lap here.
I think he's got the opportunity for a better lap. There you go.
Flirting in the green.
There you go.
That's again comparing to 5th.
That was a great example of the car either doing more what he wanted or Chris making an adjustment. Currently 5th.
15:18 for Buescher. Fastest in this group, Keselowski. More qualifying coming up. Stay with us. A very important couple laps right here for Kevin Harvick. Right now he's at the bottom of the list, 35 points below the cut line.
See how much he worked the wheel in 1 and 2, and now in 3 and 4 still working the wheel. Watch as this lap goes on. Let's see if that wheel calms down a little bit.
Kevin Harvick looking for a great starting spot for tomorrow night's race. First lap, third quickest at a 15:05. Can he improve on it on lap 2? He does. 15:04.
You saw that second lap, how his hands got less busy.
Is P2 right now.
It just took that while for those tires to come in. Teammate Eric Almirola on top of the truck. He's 4th fastest in Group 1. So speed from Stewart Haas Racing.
Here's Kyle Busch following after Kevin Harvick. Earlier today in the media center, Kevin Harvick actually made some comments about he thought Stewart Haas Racing should have been more aggressive going after Kyle Busch as a potential teammate. Kyle Busch signing with RCR earlier this week.
It's the first laps on the track since Kyle
spun.
Yeah, he had an adventure.
That can't be a confidence builder before you have to go qualify.
That car doesn't look as planted, does it, Steve, as some other cars?
No.
So you see it moving around just a little bit.
Like he just can't tug the wheel like he wants.
7th quick for the multiple-time winner here. Kyle Busch has been so successful. 8 times he has won at this racetrack, but won't make it into the next round after that qualifying performance.
Big announcement joining RCR next year. How you guys think he's going to do there?
Great.
I think I think he will run equal to how the 8 currently runs. I think maybe a little potential for an improvement, but you have to remember this year he's got 1 race win. It was here on the dirt.
And really, the 2 guys in front of him wrecked to get him that win. So he was running 3rd at the time.
Man, the Fords today have shown up. They're 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and Briscoe's going to try to join them. I believe he's going to run a 14.94.
Wow.
Shut it down, man. Don't even risk it. You are rolling.
Big lap.
What a lap for Briscoe. He's going to run another 15 flat. Oh.
Really good lap there.
It's really good 2 laps.
Yeah.
Just we talked a lot about the Fords being off at the beginning of the year at the bigger tracks, the high-speed stuff. Harvick had that big breakthrough win at Michigan. We said, okay, well, they're figuring it out. But these shorter tracks, anywhere they're out of the gas, using any sort of brake, they have found speed. They've brought speed, and once again here at Bristol, very impressive for the Blue Ovals.
One of the best qualifiers in Cup racing right now. Austin Cindric, he had good speed in practice.
You can congratulate him. He does have the rookie stripe on the back there, but the only rookie to qualify for the playoffs, so he will finish the highest in points based upon the reset of points at the beginning of the playoff system. So Rookie of the Year, Austin Cindric. He'll celebrate that obviously at year's end, but a great lap for another Ford here. Cindric, a 15 flat on his first lap.
So 5th quick in Group 1 was a 15.14. Right now, 5th quick in Group 2 is a 15.04. I mean, that's a solid 10th faster.
Yeah.
They're all going to go together here in a minute. We're going to know if it's cars or track.
Here's Logano on the clock. Running that higher line as he gets up to speed.
Curious about that. He never got back to the bottom. I don't think that helped him on his coming to the green flag. He's got to clean this lap up. I think it was just tighter than he expected it to be. Going to have to find some speed right here on this last lap.
To your point, Jeff, it just looks stuck. I don't see any sort of question about the back of the car. I mean, it looks fine, but it just tells me he can't hustle it as fast as you want, probably waiting on those front tires.
Yeah, I think he came to the green. He was expecting it to turn. It just never turned, and it didn't get much better throughout the lap.
7th quickest in this group for Logano.
He's going to be disappointed with that, I believe.
Here comes Ross Chastain in the 1. Remaining to qualify will be Chastain, Denny Hamlin, William Byron, and Bubba Wallace, the final 4.
Very interested to see what this one car runs. His teammate Suarez was 13th fastest in Group 1. Neither one of these cars showed a lot of speed in practice.
Put together a decent lap here. Now he's about 0.2 of a second off of what we've seen out of Cole Custer.
It's not the lap he's hoping for right there.
15.17 for Chastain.
Oh, it's coming back.
Chastain goes to 6th, just outside the top 5.
But that is faster than the Group 1 pace. So,
yeah, that'd have been fastest in Group A.
Yeah, so overall, he's 6th fastest.
Here comes Denny Hamlin.
Remember, he talked about the steering in practice. Just reminding you of that as you watch his hands here.
You hear him lift right there off 2?
This is green flag now.
Off the racetrack in the middle of the corner.
Third quickest for Hamlin. So he's locked in.
He's not done.
That's good. 01 is third quick.
Oh, he was getting ready to put a big number up, I believe. It was about a 10th better trending. This is one I would watch in that next round. He looked like he had a little bit more pace if needed.
William Byron and then Bubba Wallace, the final 2 in this Group B, trying to break into that top 5 so they can make it to the second round of qualifying here at Bristol.
Another one trying to run the middle of the racetrack. Same thing, Jeff. It's like I think he expected it to turn down the hill a little straighter, a little cleaner.
Still not turning the way he needs it to. You can see he couldn't run the bottom on corner exit.
Yep. You can just watch that left front. It's just not pointing, right? It's just not coming back down.
Better that set of corners to see if it continues to improve.
He was 13th on his first lap. It does improve, but only the 10th. So William Byron also will not advance. Harvick still on the bubble. Now only one more can knock him out of the top 5, and that is Bubba Wallace.
Oh, what a shot. This will be a great view.
Bubba pulled off in practice and ran a long run. He was only 23rd fastest in practice on 1 lap speed.
I like his dash. Clean looking dash right there.
How about confidence? What does that do for you the next race you go to after you get a big win?
Can't hurt.
This is close. Can he find a little speed on the second lap?
9th for Wallace on lap 1. Not going to happen. Harvick will advance into the second round. Bubba Wallace ends up in the 9th position. So Briscoe, Cindric, Hamlin, Keselowski, and Harvick join Larson, Bowman, Blaney, Almirola, and Bell. That will be the second round of qualifying coming up. Getting ready for round 2 of qualifying, and these are the drivers that will be fighting for the pole here at Bristol. Those in yellow are playoff drivers. So you see Eric Almirola and Brad Keselowski have broken into this group. You also see a lot of blue ovals over on the right side. Ford, the last time they have won a pole at Bristol, it happened with Greg Biffle in March of 2012. So over 10 years. Can they do it again here? Coming up next, a very special edition of the Dale Jr. Download as Dale Jr. returns to North Wilkesboro. That's at 6:30, then 7:30, or excuse me, 7 o'clock countdown to green, 7:30 Xfinity Series Racing, and race for the championship at 10 o'clock. Tomorrow, continuing on right here at the world's fastest half mile, countdown to green at 6:30 for the Cup Series, racing at 7:30. NASCAR America Post Race Show at 11 and 11:30 race for the championship, all right here on USA. As you take a look at the point standings, this is the last race of the first round of the playoffs. Christopher Bell, the only driver that's been able to advance based on points.
And while there are no points awarded in qualifying, pit stalls will be chosen in the order of qualifying. Tight pit road, qualifying well, give you a good choice at pit stalls.
Yeah, the whole weekend matters. These pit stalls here get tight. A lot of cars on a lead lap.
Guys want to make a prediction? Who's going to win the pole? Steve?
Hamlin.
Denny Hamlin? Jeff? Cindric. All right. We're about to find out when we come back. Round 2 coming up. We're going to find out who wins the pole and has that pit stall number 1 selection. And they will go out based upon slowest to fastest of the top 5 from each group. So Group A will be first out, and first onto the track will be Christopher Bell. He'll set the number. And then we'll go Almirola, Blaney, Bowman, and Larson from Group A. Then the Group B, slowest to fastest, will follow. This will set the top 10 starting positions.
It is a nerve-wracking 2 laps around here. Happens really quickly. A lot of drivers talk about holding their breath through these laps. It is high pace. You got to be willing to put it on the edge.
This is lap 1 for Bell.
I'm going to see if these Goodyear tires have more speed left in them. He ran a 15:14. There you go, 15:05, a pickup of almost a 1/10 of a second.
And the lap did not look as good. It was up the racetrack in the middle. Everybody we saw ran fast in the first group. First 2 groups ran right around the bottom of the racetrack. So makes me think there's some speed out there, Steve.
I agree. I think there's speed. The tires don't fall off a lot. That's why this other reason why this qualifying is so important is this race is going to be tough to call from a pit box. You're just not going to peel this thing in and put 4 tires on every yellow. You're going to have to be creative. Track position helps with those decisions.
Here's Eric Almirola, one of the 2 that are non-playoff drivers that are fighting for a spot here in the top 10.
See, he made that high entry into 3. But when he came to the green, he had gotten to the bottom. Saw some other guys not be able to do that. This looks good. Looks really good.
Great lap here for Almirola. 14:94. Comparing to his fast lap, just a little bit slower there on lap 2. But Almirola now fastest at a 14:94. Beginning of the year, Almirola made the announcement that he would not be coming back after 2022 season. And then, just a couple weeks ago, they made the announcement. Smithfield said, we want you back. He wants to come back, and so he will be back for at least another 2 years with Stewart-Haas Racing. Ryan Blaney on his way out and getting up to speed.
Ryan Blaney, the track record holder here at Bristol at a 14:52 back in 2019.
Well, if being on the bottom is good, he's great. Look at that. Just wrapping those left side tires.
Lap 1, 15 flat for Blaney. In the green.
This car did this the last time. Second lap was better than the first. Will that trend continue?
Got tight.
Lost a little bit in 3 and 4.
Yeah.
For Blaney.
Got to the center of 3 and 4, and the car didn't turn. And then he went to the throttle, and he got off the bottom. Just front end went away from him on that last corner.
Here comes Alex Bowman. Bowman right now 30 points above the cut line. Currently 6th in the rankings. Bowman on his lap now. You see him trending in the red. About a 0.5 of a second off of what we've seen out of Almirola already.
Wow. He just went all the way on the yellow line there.
Couldn't get down there in 3 and 4. Lost a little bit of what he had going, but still fast enough to improve to second quickest at a 14.97.
Right there, 97. Nice job today, guys.
Kyle Larson, defending series champion on the track. Larson's announcement came yesterday, extending a contract with Hendrick Motorsports, HendrickCars.com. He'll go through 2026. In the green.
Oh, got loose on him.
Can you regroup in lap 2?
Not going to do it. The car just has lost some grip. I thought he was in great shape till he got to just past the entrance to 3. Steve, the back of the car started coming around on him and just couldn't commit.
Yeah, I just had to chase the back a little bit.
Think about that. They're so dejected. Amarola ran a 94 and Larson ran a flat. You know, gosh, we're terrible.
0.05 of a second separating those two, which is first to third.
This guy's going to be the show tomorrow night, I'm convinced.
We'll see where he'll start. On the clock now. Green. What's he got through 3 and 4? Lost a little getting in, picked it back up, getting off.
Only 5th quick.
Harvick goes 15.03.
Rick, I think your call was better than our data. I had him in the green too. 5th. It was very. We looked around up here. We didn't know what happened.
It looked good. Now it's the 6 of Brad Keselowski, driver owner for RFK Racing.
This team's starting to build a little momentum. Struggle first half of the year for sure. Continue to get better.
So Brad Keselowski on his first lap is 7th quickest at a 15.12. .15.08, a good pickup on the second lap for Brad Keselowski, keeps him in that 7th spot.
3 to run.
Hamlin, Cindric, and Briscoe. All right, Steve, here's your guy.
Yeah, I just feel like Hamlin had a really good second lap that he shut down in the first round. That's why I picked him. I thought we haven't seen the full potential of this 11 car yet.
Running that high line, yep.
But he leaves on the very bottom.
Very clean. Throttle sounded good. Maybe a little slow to the throttle.
Left the bottom a little bit through 4. First lap for Hamlin. 3rd quickest, 14.99. Can he pick it up?
That's what I thought in the first round, as his second lap was going to be better.
Oh, up the racetrack.
Yep.
I don't think this lap will be as good.
Little higher through 3 and 4 this time, and Hamlin a little bit slower, 14.97. So he's still 3rd behind Almirola and Bowman.
I think you called it, Jeff, just a little high in 3 and 4 coming to the checkered.
All right, Jeff, you thought it was going to be Cindric. His turn on track.
See what he does down here. His teammate did the same thing. Didn't run that high entry into 3, just wrapping the bottom.
On the clock. Good 1 and 2 up the racetrack though through 3 and 4 for Cindric.
Got it back to the bottom on exit though. Was pretty patient on the throttle.
15:07 first lap. This lap looks better.
It was. That was tidy around the bottom, but I wonder if he just slowed it down to keep it on the bottom.
Yep. 15:08. So Cindric now 8th quickest, and it's up to Chase Briscoe. Can he upset Almirola? Smiles right now on Eric's face.
We've had 2 non-playoff drivers win the first 2 races, so why not have a pole sitter?
I was thinking the same thing.
In the playoffs?
They take the dirt off Bristol, and Briscoe still has a chance to be great here. I mean, it's very impressive. Oh, the highest.
Really high line.
Very aggressive.
Coming to the green.
But he did get back to the bottom, so he did exactly what he wanted to do. Got up the racetrack a little bit on corner exit.
Hugging the bottom. Briscoe on his first lap.
That was a great 3 and 4.
Beat a 14.94. He goes 14.96 on his first lap. Can he improve the second one?
I just don't think 1 and 2 is like he needs it to be. That 3 and 4 was really good.
Oh, up the racetrack here through 3 and 4. Does he have enough? Almirola or Briscoe? It's going to be Almirola winning the pole at Bristol.
Nice job, guys.
Good job, buddy.
Good job, buddy.
And we'll get a word with the pole sitter, Eric Almirola. You'll start P1 tomorrow. What do you and this team need to do to make sure you finish P1?
Well, just keep tuning on it. I felt like we had a really good Blue Oval City Ford Mustang in practice, and we ran, I think, 55 laps straight, and I felt really good about it. And we swapped over to Q trim, and it still got a lot of speed. So really proud of the effort on this team, man. We were bummed out. We didn't make the playoffs, but we're showing what we're capable of. We can race with these guys. So, yeah, we'll go try and do it for 500 laps tomorrow night.
A lot of questions on what the track was going to give you. What did it give you in practice, and how do you expect it to change tomorrow?
Well, I hope it changes for the race's sake. You know, the track's just got a lot of grip, and we're just ripping right around the bottom. There doesn't seem to be a lot of speed off the bottom, so hopefully that changes. It typically does throughout the course of the night and when a lot of rubber gets laid down, but right now it seems like it's going to be right around the bottom.
All smiles for Eric Almirola as he wins the pole. More NASCAR coverage always available on NBCSports.com. Again, coming up next, it's the Dale Jr. Download Return to Wilkesboro. We'll be joining that in progress. Countdown to green at 7. Xfinity Series Racing at 7:30. Make sure to keep it right here on USA.